right. Week 16 hot read. We are 0-1 on the hot read this week. The ugliest, grossest Thursday night under of the year, 63-21. Waiting on Sunday night, but so far for the season, 17-9-1 on the season for the hot read, 61%. We're going to start out right in on Thursday night. This is a pick I gave out on the look ahead on Friday on the Best Bets episode of the podcast. I'm going back to it. I'm loving it. I'm doubling down on the Los Angeles Rams -3.5 against the Saints in LA. This line has not moved, and I certainly think it should have by now. I still think it will. The Rams on Sunday, they go up 20-0 on Washington. They basically coasted. Washington kind of closed the gap in garbage time, but never really competed. LA had 148 more yards. Really should have been more than that until the end of the game. The Saints look like they did the same thing. 24-6 over the Giants, 28-6 over the Panthers last week. Really, really unimpressive games when you dig into the numbers. They only had 503 yards of offense combined against the Giants and Panthers in those games. Two terrible teams. Really, they're just playing awful offenses, and they've been getting by on that. These teams are basically being counted as equals by the spread, and I don't see it. Now, they're both 7-7. They're tied in the wild card race. Into the weekend, the Rams were 17th DVOA. The Saints were 21st. So on that note, this line kind of looks right. But these teams are going opposite directions despite these recent Saints wins. Last 5 games before Sunday, Rams were a top 10 team by DVOA. They're the number 2 offense in the NFL behind only the unstoppable 49ers. And the defense really has even been improving around league average. Same stretch. The Saints are 30th in DVOA. Their offense is still bottom 10. It has been all season. The defense has been dropped to 30th. Now, that's going to get a little better, of course, after holding the Giants to 6 points, but not necessarily a lot. The Giants are a terrible offense, one of the worst in the league. You're supposed to hold them to 6 points. Saints are injured up and down the roster. Lots of key injuries there. Short week. We only have 4 days here. And after this game for the Saints, they play the Buccaneers in week 17. That's the team they're tied with in the division. This is a sort of game where you might rest a couple guys. You need that Bucs game. You have to win that as the Saints. This one's not quite as big of a deal. It's nice if you get it, but you got to have that Bucs game. So I like that angle for us as well. Saints are good running the ball. That's their one real strength, but the Rams' run defense has been better. Saints' run defense is terrible lately. Kyron Williams, I think, will shred them. And, of course, you know we love to fade Dennis Allen always, especially on a short week, especially against Sean McVay, an elite head coach. 5-2 ATS on a super short week like this. These teams are not equals. Give me the Rams all day. Rams -3.5 against the Saints on Thursday night. And then let's get the very next game on the schedule. Saturday afternoon. 2 teams that play this Saturday. Give me the raw Mike Tomlin Steelers at home, +2.5 underdogs against the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a bullseye on the rah trend. We'll get to that in a second. Look, it's ugly in Pittsburgh. The Steelers have lost 3 in a row against the Cardinals, the Patriots, the Colts. They're really not even competitive in these games. Playoff hopes are on life support. Is the 500 streak in jeopardy? How can you bet the Steelers? This is exactly when you bet the Steelers. This is what the Tomlin Steelers have been for years now. So first with the matchup. There is a chasm in between these defenses. And I know Pittsburgh didn't look the part this weekend, but Cincinnati, they are terrible defending the run, and they're really bad defending the middle of the field passing. We saw Minnesota exploit both of those things. Ty Chandler had a huge game. TJ Hawkinson had a big game along with their other tight ends. I think Pat Freiermuth for the Steelers will have a big game here. The Steelers have been a top 5 run offense the last 6 games. They put Broderick Jones on the line, the rookie. They've been really doing well running the football. I think they're going to run the ball well here. I think they're going to go to Freiermuth, and that's really Steelers football. That's what the Steelers have been doing well, and it matches up perfectly with what the Bengals don't do well. Last 5 games, Cincinnati's defense, 31st overall by DVOA, including 30th against the pass, and they've been terrible against the run all year. Another thing, the injuries. Cincinnati just lost DJ Reader for the season. That is a big loss on the line, especially as bad as that line has been anyway. Jamar Chase, we don't know if he'll be ready to go. He was limited at the end of that game Saturday. Meanwhile, we might get Kenny Pickett here. I certainly would like Kenny Pickett, please and thank you. I do not enjoy Mitchell Trubisky, but, we're playing it either way, so I will take it. But great if we get Pickett here. Even better if Jamar Chase ends up limited or out. And the trends, the rah-rah Tomlin trends. Let me give you the numbers. Week 5 forward as an underdog for his career, Mike Tomlin, 44, 20, and 1 ATS, 69%. Very nice cover rate, but you got to use the trend right. People are saying, oh, the rah-rah trend is dead. Rah-rah is over. Fire Tomlin. No. The rah-rah trend is great. You just got to use it in the right spot. Notice I said week 5 forward. The rah-rah trend is not good the first month of the season. Well, here's a few other spots where the trend is good. Trend is better at home. 15-4-1 ATS, 79%. Guess what? Home game for Pittsburgh. It's better in divisions games. 21-5-1 rah-rah ATS, 81%. Guess what? We're in a division game here. It's better after a loss by 7 or more. 9-1 ATS, 90% cover rate. Guess what? They just lost by more than 7. This is a bullseye. This is the exact spot you want the rah-rah trend. Mike Tomlin, for his career against the Bengals, 67% ATS, and few team agnostic trends go Pittsburgh's way here too. Just basically a buy low, sell high thing here, where Cincinnati is the sell high. They've won a few games in a row. Pittsburgh on a 3-game losing streak, 62% ATS for teams like that. AFC North division underdogs late in the season. That's a trend you want, 64% for the underdog. And then just taking the team that is the desperate team that needs the win, like Cincinnati, 40 to 60% win rate, just ahead of an opponent. In week 16 through 18, only 32% cover rate all time in the last couple of decades. So this is a spot where we're giving Cincinnati too much credit, Jake Browning too much credit. I know, the Steelers look dead. I will stop betting rah-rah when they pour dirt on Mike Tomlin's grave. I got to do it one more time. Rah-rah, Mike Tomlin, Steelers, plus 2.5. So, week 16 hot reads, Thursday night, Rams, minus 3.5, home against the Saints. And Saturday, rah-rah, Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, plus 2.5, home against the Bengals. Hot read is off next week for the holidays. Merry Christmas, everyone. Let's get a couple of wins.